I've been piloting my design and fabrication business as a one-man show for about 5 years now, since I graduated architecture school. And man, I've learned so much about myself, what it means to offer my gifts to the world, but more importantly, I've learned how to pivot, change, let go, and transform. And as somebody who tends to hold on, who really gets attached to certain ways of being in the world. And in this video, I just really want to break down the art of letting go and just the power of allowing yourself to evolve, to die a certain ego death so that you can rebirth yourself, your self-concept, into a more aligned version. So my name's Kev, and like I shared, I'm an architectural designer, creative strategist, and I really just love helping ambitious creatives design and build an aligned, creative business. I really thrive in helping pull out people's creativity and give them a channel to put it in the world, authentically. And so that's been such a real part of my journey, is what's the question that I just ask myself is, what's the most authentic form of giving my gifts to the world? I was finishing up a big project the other day, installing I do a lot of metalworking, a big stainless steel railing system, and I'm just sitting drilling 150 holes in concrete, slamming anchor bolts and stuff. And I'm great at that. Like, I've gotten to a level of mastery. I've been doing that type of stuff like over 10 years. 5 years of doing my own business, but 10 years of that work. And I've gotten to a level of mastery where it's like 90%. I've really gotten really good at what I do. But then there's a certain numbness that comes inside of that. I know I can get better still, but it's such a nuanced dance, which I love. But I would never have expected that there'd be a certain level of lack of fulfillment or numbness that could become when the things that used to really challenge me are no longer as challenging. So what's the next challenge? And whenever I arrive at those places, that's when it's really time to pivot, to open to more depth, and to allow yourself to let go of old ways of being. So how that's worked for me in my business is it's been things I've been so passionate about and I've worked towards, and I get there, the place I finally am like, yes, I'm finally there. I'm doing the project for the type of money, for the this and the that I've always wanted. And celebrating that, but realizing even yet, that's not the source of fulfillment, right? Those are great moments to celebrate, but every time I find that I'm placing fulfillment on something in the future or something out there, I arrive at that place because I'm determined, I'm resilient, but I ultimately feel this feeling of, all right, well, what's next? What's the next challenge? And so for me, the next challenge starts with, what can I let go of from that chapter that can create space for whatever new thing, new challenge, new person, new opportunity wants to come into my life, creating space for that to land. And there really is an art to letting go, because we can get really kind of nooked, comfy in our nooks. And as much as I think a nook is beautiful, a little niche where you're comfy and cozy in the world and you're giving your gifts and people appreciate you, that's such a gift. A lot of people crave that gift. But I just want to speak to the idea of, even when you're in that little world that you've created, in a sense, like a little bubble of you, right? Your little bubble of authenticity, we still have to challenge ourselves to step outside of that little bubble of safety, We have to be able to create, pockets of safety in life. I mean, that somatic experiencing practice speaks to that, because the world's crazy, right? We need pockets of safety, but we also want to be able to realize that we're safe even in the challenge. even in letting go of the past form of business, of relationship, of who I thought I was yesterday. Because tomorrow's dream often requires letting go of yesterday's dream, so that today I'm fully resourced to build it, to design it first and foremost, as this person that I now am, right? So how this looks in creative pursuits is just allowing yourself to evolve, to keep experimenting, to keep playing, you know? I've fallen into this trap, and I see a lot of people fall into it, where we mistake our devotion to something for being rigid and serious about it. And that I have found is not the way. Like, take your mission seriously, take your work seriously, but if you can't just burst into a smile and laughter at a moment's notice, you're too rigid. You're too rigid about your practice, you know? And that has been a huge shadow for me, giving my gifts, scaling my one-person business, and just opening my life, you know, opening my heart. It's impacted intimate relationships in the past. It's impacted me just enjoying my life. Because when we take our level of, our pursuit, our desire for mastery too seriously, we miss the important ingredient of play and of uncertainty weaving in and out, and of spontaneity. As much as that might not be you, it's just a fact of life, right? Playful energy is so important to discovering new challenges, to opening to new opportunities, to just learning more about ourselves, right? And so to invite more of that energy in, we have to let go of how we think the future's gonna look, how we think this project's gonna unfold, how we think a relationship should be, how we think that we should show up in the world. We can have an idea of those things, but we have to certainly let go of yesterday's idea of those, but not be too attached to them. It's like, I need to be able to hold everything in the palm of my hand like this. The more that I'm too convicted and like clenching my fist, I'm severely limiting what I can experience in my life. Now, there's some things that we're naturally going to be convicted over, certain values, this, that, and the other, sure. But when I'm approaching life like this, I might create a good life, right? But I won't create a great life. A great life that's expanding and constantly challenging me to become all that I can be, to giving me new artistic pursuits that I didn't think I would even be able to grow into. Bigger projects, more responsibility, more fun, more collaboration, more spice to life, right? This, I feel like, at least in my experience, has been a great way to build something and then preserve and protect it. But it's not a great way to expand what's working, you know? This is like, how can I avoid losing this? This method is more like, how can I see what's good, what's working, and expand it, and love it more, and grow it. And I think that's the beauty of letting go. Is like every pursuit in life, there's gonna have light and dark. There's gonna have some shadow. There's gonna have some joy and beauty. And it's not to repress all the shadows and things like that. It's just to realize, instead of focusing on what's wrong and how can we fix it, instead of trying to preserve and protect something, how can we just focus on what's right and how I can grow it? How can I allow who I am inside of this opportunity, relationship, business to evolve, so that what's around me naturally is called to evolve and to rise as well? And I know it's abstract, it's nuanced practice, and I know this isn't like, these are the 3 things that you can do to expand your business and your life. Like, I'm just not about that, you know? This work is deep and nuanced. But to make space for what you crave to step into tomorrow, you really have to assume a different shape of yourself today. And that takes a lot of letting go. It takes a lot of releasing control, releasing old stories, attachments, tension, you name it, right? But I can speak from my own experience and what I've seen time and time again in the ones that I love around me. the more we allow ourselves to be fully updated in the now, less attached to our history, the more that we are here to embrace challenge, to expand, and to create what we really crave to create in life. Now that's fucking magnetic, you know? When we are fully here, that is magnetic. And it might be a season of exploration. It might be, I'm gonna try on this for a little bit, and after a few months you might realize, okay, maybe I don't like those challenges, maybe that's not super aligned, but I experimented, you know? And so I can expand and grow into a different direction now. I speak all of this with a certain level of compassion and love because I've been that person, and I still will be for my whole life, someone who tends to, like, you know, get into a little ball of comfort. But I'm really practicing on being able to open myself when I find myself sort of closing off to life into this little ball of safety, opening more, because it just feels good to open my heart to life, to give my gifts, to meet new people, to inspire and be inspired. So this is just a call to hopefully help you take a step into curiosity and challenge, even when it's hard to let go of what was or what you had. But you know when it's time. You can't deny that, right? So if this was helpful, you would love my newsletter, you can sign up below. I'd also just really love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to comment and subscribe if you haven't, because it helps me so much. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.